This is why your stupidity gets in the way of rational discussion.
Remember that shootout last October? Well, Congressman Barney Frank returns to the Factor tonight. Buckle up.
Now for the top story tonight. We're pleased to welcome back to the Factor Congressman Barney Frank, who joins us now from Washington. Congressman, we appreciate you being a stand-up guy, and I have a bunch of very simple questions because, as you know, I am a very simple man. Let's begin with President Obama not releasing the prisoner abuse pictures. Do you support the president's action?
Pretty much, yeah. I think that's a decision that he's entitled to make. I was a little puzzled that people were saying that we were going to withhold pictures between 2001 and January 22nd, 2009. I still haven't gotten an answer why he feels this is only applicable during the Bush administration. But I think that is a judgment I trust the president to make. I think he is being very forthright about a lot of things. And given the situation he's in, I think that's a reasonable decision.
Okay, but you know that Senators Graham and Lieberman were very angry with Nancy Pelosi, yourself, a few other Democratic congressmen. When their bill went to the Senate, you stripped out that provision of banning the photos from public release. You saying you wanted to hear the other side, and the senators saying, hey, we've heard from every top-ranking general, the CIA, and everybody else, the Defense Department. They all say this puts U.S. troops in danger, yet you and Mrs. Pelosi and others did succeed in stripping that out. So you can see why some people are annoyed.
Well, only because they haven't looked at the whole situation. We've had here, and I don't think people ought to be hypocritical, we've had objections, which I've shared, to people going to appropriations bills, which are for spending, and without adequate debate, without any kind of hearings or discussion, putting unrelated provisions in there. My objection on that was purely procedural. The House had passed a bill. It was for funding the Iraq and Afghanistan military efforts. And the Senate then unilaterally said, okay, without any debate or anything, we're just going to put this in there. So my objection was procedural.
Yeah, but why bother with procedure on such a vital issue?
Please.
Why bother on such a vital issue on procedure?
Why? Well, could we have a rational discussion without interruption?
I think we are. No, there's always going to be an interruption. The program.
No, I don't accept that. I don't accept that this is more complicated than your yelling would make it look like.
I didn't yell, Senator. If the volume's up on your earpiece, we'll turn it down. Why bring up procedure in a vital life-death situation like this?
Because the timing was not a problem. There was no chance that those photos were going to be released. If it was an emergency situation where the only way to stop the photos from being released was to ignore legitimate procedure, that would be a different story. The president said he wouldn't do it. The courts had, in fact, said that they would uphold that for some months. So the notion that, it's important to ignore the congressional procedure, that's how we get in trouble. These last-minute amendments, and they're often very good ones, but either people believe in the procedures or not. If there was an emergency, it'd be a different story.
Well, why didn't you come out and say, listen, I support the Graham-Lieberman bill, but I'd like to do it in a different way? I didn't hear that from you.
I did say that.
When?
Well, I'm not responsible for everything that you hear.
When did you say it?
I consistently said during that discussion that I thought it was a mistake to do this in this form, violating the procedure, to put it into an unrelated appropriations bill. I think the problem of taking appropriations bills that have to pass and putting other issues in there is how we get into trouble.
I didn't hear you say it. I mean, you could have said it a little louder.
Well, I'm sorry that you didn't.
I covered this pretty closely. All right, let's get on to...
No. We're not going to stop with you saying... No, I'm sorry, Bill, but I'm not going to let you suggest that I didn't say it. I said it. I said it regularly.
You said it, I believe. Well, I didn't hear it. Maybe you could have said it louder. Next time, tell me and I'll say it loud. You know how loud I can get. Next time, tell me, I'll say it real loud. Okay, now, Defense of Marriage Act. Justice Department comes out in response to a lawsuit and says, hey, the Obama administration wants to keep traditional marriage the federal law of the land. And I guess you disagree with that, right?
No, I didn't say that. Again, that's not
I guess you disagree with it.
Well, you guessed wrong.
Okay.
May I respond?
Sure.
What I said was, first of all, I defended the president against some of my fellow gay and lesbian and other activists who criticized him for this. let's define his position. He didn't say he wants to keep that there. He wants to repeal the Defense of Marriage Act. What he said was, as President of the United States, he is constitutionally obligated to defend the law even if he didn't like it. And what I said to many of my gay and lesbian friends is, don't be hypocritical, just as I said on the procedure. When George Bush ignored laws that we thought were important that had been passed, we were critical. We should not be in the position of giving Obama the right to do what we said Bush shouldn't do.
Okay.
So President Obama, to his defense, wasn't saying he liked that law. He was saying that it was his constitutional duty to uphold it in the court case, but he did like it to be repealed, and I agree with both
President
positions.
Obama has gone on record as saying that he believes marriage should be and should remain between a man and a woman exclusively. So
yes, but that's not what you asked me.
No,
you asked
that's
me
what
about
I'm
the
asking you
Defense of
now.
Marriage
This
Act.
is another question. We move quickly here.
Well, I want to, but it could lead to people's
Have you told the
confusion.
president that you object to his belief system?
I've told him I disagree with him. Disagreeing with someone is not an objection to his or her belief system.
So you respect
but
it.
I do want to make
You respect it.
I do want to make clear this distinction that I think may have gotten blurred in our conversation. The president does say he believes marriage should be between a man and a woman,
Right.
but he's opposed the Defense of Marriage Act because it intrudes, for instance, on states like the one I live
and that's
in,
a
and
valid
others,
point.
which have
But some
allowed
people,
this to happen.
Some people in the gay community say if you oppose gay marriage, you're a bigot. You've heard that.
I
You
don't
don't
agree
believe
with that.
President
Never have.
Obama's a bigot, do you?
I've never said that of anybody
No,
on the
I'm just
basis
saying,
of
you don't
opposing gay
believe
marriage. I've said that 3 times now.
Okay, I'm glad you're.
I do not believe that you are a bigot, and I've been saying that for years. I disagree with people, but not every disagreement means that someone's bigoted.
Okay,
Some
so
do,
we have
but
some
not
common
everyone.
ground. We're making a lot of progress here, Congressman. You know, pretty soon we'll be going camping together. Now, we'll have more with the Congressman in a moment. You've gone almost full cycle here. The last time we were yelling at each other was about your oversight of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and we disagreed in a very loud volume discussion that everybody in the world saw. Now you're back saying that the banks should loosen up the condominium loans. And again, some people are saying, Wall Street Journal today, hey, he's doing the same thing. Congressman Frank is social engineering with the banking system, just what he did with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. And you say?
Well, they're completely wrong. In the first place, I was a strong opponent of the Bush administration's effort to send loans to people who couldn't afford it. When I wanted to build rental housing for people, which is not the case where the mortgages went bad. I have a consistent record in opposing the Bush administration's pushing, including Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, into low-interest mortgages that I thought were a mistake. With the condominiums, we're not talking about subprime or poor people. We do have this problem in cities with vacant property causing serious problems for the cities. What I want is to say this. Here's the rule. They have a rule that they will not finance a condominium unless 70% of the units of the building are already sold. I'm not talking at all about whether or not that borrower can pay for it. They should not allow any borrower who can't pay for it to do it. But I think they've got a vicious cycle. If you won't fund anybody until it's 70%, it'll never be 70%, and you have a serious problem throughout cities of vacant property.
As long as you're not going to go into the social engineering realm.
I was opposed to this subprime mortgages.
Some people say that's not true.
Bill, that's not rational.
I'm just blaming
not a way to have a conversation.
The Wall Street Journal not
I'll
rational?
show you the record.
Are they not rational?
No, on
the Wall
this
Street
issue,
Journal?
no,
Are they not rational?
In fact, not on this issue. In 2007, when I first became chairman and filed a bill and got it through the House to restrict subprime lending, the Wall Street Journal editorials attacked me for restricting loans to people who should get them. They have been totally wrong and were, until very recently, pushing more of these loans and criticizing us for trying to restrain them. I don't think that's rational.
We gave you say it, and are you happy?
With what?
With everything. With life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
No, I'm never happy with everything, Bill. I'm not happy with everything.
All right, you're welcome back anytime. Directly ahead, Dick Barney.